Hi folks, welcome back to the Model 3 Man channel. Now from time to time, manufacturers look at YouTube and they determine which YouTubers might be useful in terms of evaluating one of their products. They'll send that product to the YouTuber for a review. So recently, a manufacturer sent me a product, and what interested me was that I'd long thought about whether or not I should be getting this accessory for the car. Today we're going to look at a Model 3 car cover that claims to protect the car from rain, insect droppings, sticky pollen and flowers, protects it from UV light. A great opportunity arose this past long weekend. We were going up to Anderson Lake to stay with two friends, Lane and Tony. And you remember Lane from my episode on whether aero covers make a significant difference to mileage. Lane was the guy whose Model 3 we also used in a to B comparison test. So we went up to stay at their cottage by the lake, and it meant that for 2 days I had to park Red Dragon at a jetty, at a dock, and then we jumped on a boat to get to their house. So for 2 days I was leaving the car in high temperatures, completely unattended. I took the car cover with me, and this episode tells you the story of just how it performed. So enjoy it and see whether it's something that you want to get for your car. This was sent to me to be reviewed, BougeRV. So this is the car cover we're going to use. We're staying here at Anderson Lake for the weekend, and what we'll do is cover the car, just protect it from whatever the elements might do, or the local vandals. So let's get to opening this. Lane, you want to help me? Remember Lane from my first ever episode?
Hi guys.
Where we did the evaluation of range? That's the guy, and he has a Tesla.
That's a very strong plastic bag.
Throw that in there. Pull this down.
And Luke is in the shot. Luke is in the
Okay, well there we go, famous.
That's our famous man.
It's our mascot.
Very nice cover, you should say.
Where's my phone? Okay, bring the phone a little closer. We can't get into the trunk because we need the key. There we go. Presentation is good. It's neatly wrapped. It'll never be like this again. So we should appreciate while it's tidy and neat. We're going to see which is the front and which is the back. Front.
So
Wow, we're about to parasail. Lane, that says front. Front. Let me give it to you.
And you just keep that.
Yeah, let's just cinch it up until it's
Make sure
nice
these are
and tight.
down over the wheels.
What have we got up front there?
We've got another strap to
Another
put on
strap,
the car.
okay.
It's over
that's
here.
Good.
Take it. Oh, it's very nice.
You give it to me.
Totally waterproof, this thing. People are going to wonder what's under this cover.
That's the unfortunate thing, is they're going to want to find out. And hopefully it doesn't attract more attention. So as you can see from this, that it covers the full rear end, it covers the wheels pretty much down to the ground. Each of the two front and back ends have a strap. It's an adjustable strap with a buckle that you can clip in. And what that does is make sure that this does not blow up in the wind.
I like these reflective strips.
And this is a little bit of safety in case
People
are here at night. One thing that I can tell you right away is there is no flap for the charging bay. So if you were covering this and you had it outside, you wanted to charge, you'd have to lift it up to get to the bay. So maybe that's a point of improvement for a future version. I do like the way that it's made for the Model 3, so it fits front and back and goes underneath the bottom. So I think we can leave it for the weekend and go enjoy some time out on the lake. This is Anderson Lake, and here's the boat we're going to use. I brought the drone as well, so we should be able to get some good aerial footage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pushing people away.
Meet the better half of Lane and Tony. It's Tony.
So you're waiting for a ride?
And Lane. So here we are on Anderson Lake. I got a selfie stick, Lane. It's my arm. So notice when I unpacked it that there's a little tear over here. Nothing that can't be repaired. We've left the car here for 2 days. We've had a great time in the lake. We're going to take the covers off and just see how I protected the car. Let's undo the one at the back here. Looks good underneath, as clean as it was. How are we going to do this, eh? Just stuff it in. Just stuff it in, it's not good enough.
Clean the car's clean.
Get it inside. Take a look. So that definitely works well.
Okay.
We're back to Vancouver now. Thank you, Lane. So I'm here filming in the parking lot of the church that I attend. So Brian from I Want Tesla, we have that in common. Both find the church parking ground a very, very useful place to create some of our episodes. When you finally fitted it. I really do like the idea of the chevrons all the way around on all four sides. This is a very simple clip connector. To undo that, just click it and you can undo the strap. I will say it might be an improvement on the next version to have a flap that opens for the charging bay, because at this point you cannot charge the car without removing the rear end of the cover. Other than that, I think it fits very, very well. I still have to test this in rain. So let's take the car. We're going to go and test how waterproof this is by spraying over the car. I'd like to point out something on the front end here, because of course we know that when the weather is very warm and the car tries to keep the battery cool, it's going to start the fan that engages the cooling system for the car's battery. If you pull down the front cover right below the battery cooling vents, you're in for trouble, especially if it's hot weather. So what you want to do is just lift it up. It can rest on top of the license plate if you have it low. There we go. And now, as you can see from here, let's give you a frontal view. The cooling vents are completely unobstructed, and the car will be able to cool the battery down in the middle of heat, because you do not want the heat building up below the car cover and consequently leading to overheating. So lift that front flap, and as you can see up there, well, the leaves keep falling, and that's exactly why we have the cover, because it's not just leaves, it's insect droppings, it's rain, and that leads us to the next point. We're going to do a rain test. So did I mention to you guys how much I hate leaves? So before we begin the rain test, we're just going to blow all the leaves off the car. So what we're going to do now is create a simulated rainstorm, and I'm just going to wet this thing for about 5 minutes, and we'll see how well it protects the car from rain. That's impressive. Just look at that. Let me do it again. We'll drench it. Watch it run off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the whole car, spray it thoroughly, do it for about 5 minutes, and then we'll just let it sit for a while until the water beads off and dries itself, and then we'll lift the cover. So we're here at the front end of the car. After taking off the cover, I was totally impressed. There was not a single drop anywhere on the car. Not in the front, not the glass, not the doors, nowhere. So the claim that the cover is completely waterproof is accurate. It did a great job. So what I'm going to demonstrate right now is the way to fold the cover without having to take it off, lie it on the ground, if there's only one person and there's no one else to help you. So what we do is effectively we take that side and flip it up. We take the other side, flip it over, front side, flip it back, back end, flip it forward. So now that you've actually seen the car cover in action, let me just make a quick point here. When you're fitting a car cover, leave it folded on top of the car and simply unfold it on all four sides. But let's get to the pros and the cons. What did I like? What did I not like? Number one, I really like the price. This is not an expensive item. In fact, it is inexpensive. And inexpensive doesn't always mean good, but where inexpensive and very functional match up, then you got a bargain. Number two, the lining. It does have a very soft fleece lining on the inside, and look, that's very important in terms of not scratching the paint. And I've checked it and I felt it. It would definitely not do anything to the paint. So on that particular score, I rate that as a plus. Number three, it is a multi-layer construction. Now, having said that, it's very thin. It's not a very thick, bulky, heavy, padded coat, but it has 5 layers, and among those layers are a layer for waterproofing, one for protection against UV light, the inner soft fleece lining. So 5 different layers sandwiched together, and together they protect from the extremes of UV light, temperature, rain, leaves, twigs, insects, insect droppings. Number 4, I do like the way that water beads and runs straight off it. It's almost like a ceramic coating. This cover does exactly that, and you've already seen that in the video. Number 5, as I mentioned earlier, it is easy to fit single-handedly if you do it the right way. And unlike me, took me a bit of time to get to learn that you leave it folded, put it on the roof, unwrap it, and then drape it over the side. So easy to fit if there's only one person to do the job. Number 6, it is lightweight, but it does the job very, very well. Number 7, given that it was made for the Model 3, it actually fits really well. The attachment straps work well, and the way that they're positioned guarantees it will not blow off the car. But those are the pros. I do have 2 specific things that I think could be better, where I would say, hey guys, build an updated, improved car cover with the following features. So my first complaint was, if you wanted to leave the cover on and then charge your car, if you had a charging cable nearby and you could stick the charger into the car, well, you couldn't. You'd have to lift the whole of the rear end off the cover to expose the charging bay, and then you charge it. It's not at all difficult to create a flap which can be lifted up and allow you to get into the charging port. So that's not difficult, and I believe it's necessary. So there is an area for improvement. And the second comment that I have, which I think is even more important, I did present a warning in the video in big red letters saying this is important, pay attention to this. And that was this. The cover comes down the front of the car. It hooks underneath under the fender. But what have we got behind that? Well, we have the ventilation system whereby when the cooling comes on for the battery, there has to be a free flow of air. Now, when I parked at the lake, I forgot about that. I didn't think about it. I came back to find my car had dropped from 305 kilometers remaining to 228. 305 down to 228, with the car doing nothing other than cooling the battery. And there was no airflow in the front. So that's a significant failing. I addressed it in my review, as you saw, by lifting the skirt of the cover and putting it just above the license plate. That leaves the ventilation flaps completely unobstructed. But it will be just as easy to put a flap on the front cover that can be lifted up, attached perhaps with Velcro or press studs, that would allow you to lift it and open it in hot weather. Now, listen, in cold weather, the ventilation system isn't going to come on. The internal heating will come on. In fact, the cover will help to keep the inside of the car warmer. But in summer days, it's terrible. So that's a particular weakness. I'd like to see them address those too. Other than that, this is value for money. It fits very well. I can tell you I will be using it frequently from now on. When the car is not parked in my Red Dragon tent. The choice is up to you, and if you think that the pros outweigh the cons, I've placed a link in the description below, so use that to get a discount on the stated price. Once again, listen, thank you every one of you for your support of the channel. With my last upload, which was the 10 takeaways from having owned Model 3 in a year, I went from somewhere like 6,800 subscribers up to 8,000, almost 700 at this point. That's just wonderful. So I'm so grateful to those of you who subscribe and who hit the notification bell, and I encourage you, if you haven't done that, please go ahead and do that. So for now, stay safe, watch your back, and I'll see you on the next upload.